live, and if I could get you to post a message over there, just directing people to our YouTube channel, I think that might actually be the way to go. Just tell them to go to the channel and see if they can find anything there. In the meantime,
No, it's still not. That's what we're doing.
you're on the channel, on the YouTube channel. Nothing there. Tell you what, I might bring up a browser.
It says live now.
It says live now. Okay, look, we're going to go with that. We're going to say this is our live broadcast now. So look, for those of you who are just joining us, our apologies. We had some serious technical issues at the start. Everything was saying that we were going live, but no one was able to tune in. So we're trying again. We expected teething problems on our first night, and it looks like we've got a few people joining in now, so we are at least away. So if I could get Ange and Jess, if you could at some stage go onto Facebook and post a message on our Facebook page, just telling people they'll need to go to our YouTube channel rather than that broadcast that we had set up before. So sorry about that, everyone, but thanks to those of you who did manage to find your way here. Hopefully we will sort out these teething problems in future. So anyway, let's try the introduction again, shall we? My name is Dave Owen, otherwise known as Space Dave, and I'm your host tonight. Thank you so much for joining. With us in the house tonight, we have a small but very enthusiastic live audience. Give everyone a big yell, everyone, a big wave. So thank you for joining us tonight. And over there, working on our technical problems at the moment, we've got some of our production crew, that is Ange and Jess, who are busy trying to fix some of the problems that we had. And our floor manager tonight is Floyd. Say hi, Floyd. Thank you, everyone, and let's see how we go tonight. So, for those of you who are just joining us and don't know anything about the Space Centre, the Space Centre itself it's a real-world place. It's an interactive museum of space and astronomy. It's located in Kihiki, just south of Te Awamutu. That's what it looks like from the outside, and this is what it looks like on the inside when we are having a reasonably busy day. This was from the last school holidays, and of course you've just seen what it looks like right now. We've got our live studio audience in here. So before we get on with the actual program, I would like to put out a big thank you to our sponsor for tonight's episode, and that is On Fire, Specialist Fire Engineering Consultants. So founded in 2005, this company has grown to become one of New Zealand's preeminent specialist fire engineering consultants, and we're really happy to have them on board. They're big supporters of all sorts of community things, so thank you very much, Debbie, David, and the team from On Fire. We're really happy to have you on board tonight. And one other quick thank you that I have to make tonight, and getting ready for the show, I realised I had no microphone leads, so I rang Te Awamutu College in a panic, asking if they had any spare mic leads for tonight. Not only did they have some, but one of the DPs, Bob Hollinshead, drove all the way out to the Space Centre in his own time to give me a couple of mic leads. So thanks, Bob. Thanks the whole team from Te Awamutu College. Really appreciate that. Okay, let's have a look at our program for tonight. Here is a list of things that we're going to attempt to do tonight. It's pretty loose, really. We're not going to be strict about this lineup, but we'll see how we go and see what sort of things we get through. Now, throughout the night, we're really keen to take your questions and comments, so please fire them through. You can see the details along the bottom there. You can email questions and comments to live@spacecentre.nz. Obviously, you can post in the live chat, and we would really appreciate, actually, if you could post a comment in the live chat just to let us know how everything is going. And we are going to try a phone-in thing. Actually, to be honest, if you want to phone in or text, you can text. The phone number's on the bottom there, but let's just leave that for now, shall we? Because everything's kind of turned a bit pear-shaped here, so let's just learn to walk before we can run. But we are hoping that we'll be able to get that phone going later on tonight. So that is our plan, our attempt for tonight. So let's get started. It's competition time. First up, I love competitions. So what we have tonight is a very special prize. The prize tonight doesn't have much of a monetary value, but it really does mean something to me. So I'm going to try and not drop this prize. So here we go. Hopefully you can see this. The prize tonight is this very interesting pie. Okay, it's a beautiful pie. It's still warm. It was baked by the lovely Ange, who you saw just before. It was baked fresh this afternoon, and that is the prize tonight. And the thing is that I can deliver that anywhere within about a 50k radius of Te Awamutu, but I'm afraid I can't really take it any further than that. So if you live anywhere near us, you can enter to win the interesting pie. What you have to do is post a message in the live chat saying why you think that pie might be interesting. What's interesting about it? I seriously doubt whether you'll get the answer right, but just have a go. You can ask questions about it. We can give you clues throughout the night. I will give you one clue to get started. That pie has a connection to a very famous scientist. That's what I'm going to tell you for now. We'll have a few more clues throughout the night. You guys in the live audience there, feel free to join in as well. Has anyone got any ideas yet about why the pie might be interesting? No, not really sure yet, but all will become clear throughout the night. Okay, let's keep moving on. It is time for a little bit of news. Now, we will start off with just a quick news about the Space Centre itself. This show's not about the Space Centre, so we're not going to talk much about the actual Space Centre, but there is just one quick thing that I wanted to mention tonight. At the end of last year, I posted this message on Facebook in which I complained about the fact that someone had nicked the stool from behind our astronaut photo opportunity. So that's one of those a photo op thing, you put your head through the hole there and you take a photo, and it had a little stool behind it and someone stole it. Lots of people responded offering to buy us a new one. Thank you so much, everyone. You people are just wonderful. We really do appreciate your support there. The reason I haven't got back to you is that I actually want to do something a little bit more permanent with that astronaut op. So it's still out there for the moment. I haven't forgotten about it. I will get back to you. We will make a video about it. And I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will get back to that one in due course. Okay, let's really talk about space news. That's what we're here to talk about. So there's quite a lot going on in space at the moment. And as you know, I love talking about space. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things that are going on. Now, was it a week ago? More than a week ago, wasn't it? That we watched the launch of the SpaceX Dragon 2 capsule. So that was one of our... I'll just turn that sound down. That was one of our live tests last week, in which we watched the launch of this beautiful spacecraft. That's the Dragon 2 capsule. And look, I'll just go over it. This is kind of what it was looking like when we watched the launch. It went on for quite a while, but the launch was spectacular. All the engines fired. Everything did exactly what it was supposed to. This is an amazing shot from a tracking plane that was actually following as the Dragon 2 launched. Now, these parts happened after that. This was about a day later. That's the space station there where the capsule was going. This is the capsule coming in to dock with the space station. It's another view of the space station there. This happened over a long time. As I warned you last week, it takes ages, these docking procedures. This was a nighttime docking, so this was it coming in to dock. What you're seeing there is the view from the capsule, and that's what they use to line it up as they come in to dock. It looks a bit hairy, doesn't it, when they're coming in like that? But that's all as it's supposed to be. The docking was absolutely flawless. Everything went beautifully. And there is a shot of the capsule attached or docked to the space station. You can see the Earth going by below there. So it's absolutely a thing of beauty. It was really, really cool. This is inside the station. There's just 3 astronauts, actually, at the moment on the International Space Station. There's normally about 6. But this was them going through after the docking, going into the spacecraft. There's a little globe thing that we saw last week. We'll come back to that in a sec, actually. So this is what the capsule looks like inside. Just absolutely gorgeous. I love the spaceship to bits. So let's just stop it there. If you didn't follow us or you're not sure what's going on here, this is a new kind of spaceship. We won't go into all the details now. It's the Dragon 2 capsule, and this is a new kind of spaceship designed to take people into space. And it is the first... Yeah, it's the first human-rated spacecraft, other than, say, the Chinese would be the last one, wouldn't it? The last actual new spaceship to take people into space. So anyway, it's a really, really big deal, a new spaceship that's going to take people into space. This was a test. You can see the test dummy over there, Ripley. And when we watched the launch last week, we noticed that little globe thing there floating around a little bit. So that is a zero-G indicator. Very high-tech stuff. What happens is that when the spacecraft gets into zero gravity, or microgravity if you want to be picky, that thing just starts floating around. So we know we're in zero-G. Anyway, saw that thing, loved it, thought, wow, I wonder where you could get one of them from, because it looks like just a commercially available thing, doesn't it? So I went and looked up online to see if I could find where they'd got it from, and I did find it. Unfortunately, I wasn't the first one to have that idea. The poor company that makes those things had no idea that one of them was going into space, and in the space of 24 hours after the launch, they completely sold their entire inventory online. So I was too late. I missed out. I really wanted to get one of them. But anyway, that's where they come from. If you want to get yourself a little thing like that, it's celestialbuddies.com. Anyway, I'll put the link on their page, on the show notes and everything, if you want to get one of them. They do a whole range of them, actually. It's not just Earth. They do all the planets. So I thought that was pretty cool, really. Anyway, we should just get back to the video here. This is Anne. I forget her last name. I can't remember it. One of the astronauts on the station.
On behalf of Ripley, Little Earth, myself, and our crew, welcome to the Crew Dragon. Congratulations to all of the teams who made yesterday's launch and today's docking a success. Welcome to the new era in spaceflight.
There you go. I don't think she's exaggerating there either. That's it really is a new era. There's a shot inside the cabin. You can see the Earth going past through the windows just there. So this is while it was still docked to the station. This is the undocking procedure. This happened during daytime, so we've got some much nicer views. So the capsule had been up there for 5 days, doing all sorts of tests and everything, and after 5 days it's undocking and does this sort of funny maneuver. Actually, it goes ahead of the space station, then up and sort of back over it, and then falls back down to the Earth and lands with its parachutes, as we will see in just a moment. So there is the spacecraft there. The front part is the capsule, the back part is the trunk, and that will get discarded before it lands. That's a shot inside SpaceX mission control, and this is a shot of the ship that goes out to rescue them. So this capsule lands at sea. So yeah, it's one of those types of spacecraft. Look, this is a beautiful shot. This is again from the tracking plane. This is, I believe, is an infrared shot. I assume that that's infrared. So anyway, it follows it, and you can see the capsule coming down. There's its drogue parachutes first, then the main parachutes come out, and they really are quite incredible as they get deployed. You can see they just come out so beautifully. Everything worked perfectly, and then it comes down to splash down in the ocean, and they get brought back by that ship that you saw just before. So hugely successful test. Everything went really well. There's a couple of tests still to go. The next test after this one, actually we'll just stop the video there. The next test after this one is the in-flight abort test. Now that's going to be worth watching. If you recall from last week, that's where they actually test the launch abort system. So the whole rocket goes up, and then the capsule on top gets blown off the top. You sort of imagine that everything's blowing up down the bottom, and it gets shot off out the top. So that should be something quite spectacular to watch. I'm really looking forward to that one. And was there one more test after that? Yikes, I can't remember. Maybe someone can look that up for me. There's 1 or 2 more tests to go anyway, and hopefully we will actually see a space flight with humans in it before the end of the year on the Dragon capsule. Righto, so that was last week. That was really cool. That's the Dragon 2 capsule from SpaceX, but of course that is only one of SpaceX's projects. Their big next thing, literally, is the BFR Starship. This is just an artist concept, so this is sort of like the next generation after the new one we've just talked about. And this is really sci-fi stuff here. So this is SpaceX, Elon Musk, his next big mission into space. So that's something to look forward to in the future, but just not yet. Right, a couple of other things we should talk about. One of them is the Chinese. Let's try this. Chang'e 4. I'm terrible at pronouncing that. It's a really hard one to pronounce, actually. But anyway, this was the lander and rover that landed on the far side of the moon recently. So that was a lander. This is a first to land something like this, to soft land on the far side of the moon. They had a little rover out there that's out and about doing stuff. If you're interested in all of the logistics of how this mission worked, there's quite a cool graphic here. This is a bit techie. Don't worry if you don't get all of this, but it's for the techies out there. This shows you exactly what they had to do. So before they landed on the far side of the moon, actually let's see if I can scribble on here. So it started over here on Earth. They wanted to go from Earth and land on the other side of the moon, of course. Now, you can't communicate with something that's on the other side of the moon directly because the moon's in the way. So what they had to do was they launched this relay satellite on the far side of the moon, and that communicates, will communicate with the lander after it landed. And so just again for those techies out there, it's actually orbiting the L2 point, the Lagrange point out there. We won't go into the details for that now, but for those techies there, people who are into orbital mechanics, and let's be honest, who isn't into orbital mechanics, go and look that up because it's really cool how all of that works. When they landed, the lander itself had a really cool science experiment. Actually, it's got a whole bunch of science experiments. One of them was this one here when they tried to grow some plants on on the moon. They actually did succeed. If you look right over the left there, you can see some plants sprouting. I can't remember which one that was. They had 4 or 5 different plants. And they did sprout, and it all started looking really, really good. This experiment was supposed to run for about 100 days. Instead, it lasted about 4 hours, and the temperatures plummeted and all the plants died. So that was really sad, but they still did get some good science out of it, and the project is going really well. Really, I think why I wanted to mention the Chinese today is because they're heading back to the moon. And so there's a lot going on heading back towards the moon at the moment. So we've got America has decided they now want to go back to the moon. The Chinese are definitely, it's already happening there. We've got private Israeli company is just, or a non-profit has just launched something towards the moon. There's all sorts of private companies. There's lots of stuff going on heading back to the moon. The European Space Agency has been pushing this, the Gateway concept. So this is a new kind of space station designed to sort of replace the existing space station that's just orbiting the Earth. This one would be orbiting the moon. And the Europeans really want to get everyone on board with this. So you can see here we've got the Canadians, Japanese, the Russians, NASA, and the Europeans are keen to get lots of people. We've also got the Chinese, we've got the private companies. The Chinese are working with some other countries as well. There's a group of countries in Asia that have sort of formed a cooperative there. So there is lots and lots of stuff. The moon is the next place where everything is happening. Now, as it happens, just a few hours ago, I saw a news report that the latest budget request from the White House has come out, and in that, NASA has really not fared very well. Now, I haven't seen anyone's reaction or analysis to this yet because I was too busy, but honestly, it's not looking that flash. I'll show you a quick graphic here of the new rockets that NASA is working on. And basically what's happened is that these ones on the left there, the SLS, Space Launch System, these are the ones that they're working on at the moment. And the idea is that they sort of build up to eventually have these big monster ones over here, and that's what they're really looking forward to, get them to the moon and Mars and stuff. The problem is that President Trump's budget request has basically allowed them to carry on with these ones, but cancelled all the really big ones. What that means for NASA, well, it's not good, because really the whole point of these ones back here is to work towards the bigger ones. These ones that I've highlighted there, they're not actually that much more capable than what we've already got with private companies. So this is, I predict, as I say, I haven't seen any analysis yet, but I predict this is going to cause a lot of angst, because we've got to ask, why is NASA still bothering to make these rockets if they're not going to be able to make the ones they actually want in the long run? So we'll see over the coming days. Of course, this is just a budget request. The way NASA's budget works is rather complicated. It now has to go to Congress and it gets argued about endlessly, and we'll see what the actual budget is in the end. I'm optimistic that they will keep working towards the Block 2 SLS, the big ones over here, but we will just have to wait and see. Anyway, look, time is marching on very quickly here, so let's just quickly whiz through a couple of other news things. I wanted to bring up this thing here. Do you remember this guy? Oumuamua. I think I've got that right. It's a Hawaiian name. This was an object that came through our solar system, discovered quite a while ago, but very unusual. This is the first known object in our solar system that came from another solar system. So quite crazy, really. Unfortunately, we didn't see it until it was a bit too late to study it properly, and it just sort of carried on, and we kind of missed it. What you're seeing there is a computer-generated image. By the way, I like to put, when I'm doing this sort of thing, I like to put a little CGI down there just to make absolutely sure that that you know what you're looking at here. It's not a real image, this one. We don't actually know what this thing looked like. All we could really tell was that it was long and skinny. Well, it turns out that this fellow here published an academic paper suggesting that this thing could have been aliens. Kind of. It's not exactly what he was saying. The paper that he published there, it's on the left with his colleagues, was basically asking the question, could this thing have been an artificial spacecraft? Would it make sense? Would it have survived the journey? Does it explain what's going on? Actually, I should have mentioned what happened was that this thing seemed to be accelerating away from us. Yeah, so that's weird, isn't it? It shouldn't have been doing that. This guy is saying, it's aliens, must be aliens. To be fair, he didn't actually say that, but he just proposed the idea. Well, the media got hold of that and they loved it. Here we've got a professor telling everyone that aliens are amongst us. So you can imagine how that went down with all the conspiracy theorists, the people who think aliens are visiting us all the time. This guy's become their new hero. So I just wanted to point out that he's not actually saying that aliens are here. I expect to see this thing come up a lot in a lot of the conspiracy websites and that sort of thing. Take it with a grain of salt. That's all we really want to say about that for now. Let's keep moving on because, yikes, we've been going for a while now. I want to say a quick goodbye to our good friend Opportunity, the rover on Mars. That completed its mission. Let's say it completed its mission after getting stuck in a dust storm. A dust storm covered those solar panels you can see there and did not survive. That was really sad. We've been following this mission for years, and I just love Opportunity very much, and I miss her a lot. Down in the back room here at the Space Centre, we have a simulated Mars environment that we are working on in that tank there. That simulated Martian soil there. I'll go into that some other time. We haven't got time to talk about it now, but you might see in there that is our little tribute to Opportunity in the Martian environment there. The scale's all wrong for that, but I kind of quite like it anyway. I think we should probably move along because that's enough news for now. We want to talk about some other things. So let's see if we can have a quick look at what's happening in the night sky. Righto, so if we go over and have a look at the screen, what we are looking at here is a software program called Stellarium, and that can show us what is in the night sky tonight or at any other time for that matter. So what we need to do, this is right now, so let's just speed up time a little bit and we'll go and we'll see what is happening tonight. So you can see the stars coming into view there. Now, when you think about what's happening in the night sky, usually the first thing that you really want to think about is what is the moon doing? Where's the moon? So have I got the right date here? I think I'm on the right date. Hang on, let's just start again to make sure I've got in the right place here. So what happens with the moon is that it really can spoil an awful lot of the sky for you. So there it is over there. So because the moon's so bright, the moon is cool to look at, don't get me wrong, but it's so bright that it really kills a lot of the other stuff. At the moment, if we zoom in on it, you can see that the moon is a crescent moon. It's a waxing crescent at the moment. So it's not too bad. It's not upsetting the sky too much, but it is there. It will get brighter as it moves towards a full moon. In the evening at the moment, probably the best thing to look at the moment is Mars over there, but we are saying goodbye to Mars. It's getting fainter and brighter and is quite hard to see at the moment. The thing to look at in the sky at the moment is actually in the morning. Let's see if I can go there without overshooting it. So this is 4 o'clock in the morning. By 4 o'clock, what we need to do is we need to head around to the east. And we can see up in the sky there is Jupiter. A bit further down, there is Saturn. And then rising at around about 4 o'clock, we've got the planet Venus. So by about 5 o'clock in the morning, you've got a beautiful lineup of 3 planets out there towards the east. Now, I say we've got a beautiful lineup out there. As it happens, 5:30 in the morning is not a time that I'm typically outside looking at the sky, so I'm just assuming it's a good lineup out there, but I'm pretty sure it will be. So for all you early risers up in the morning, there's a really nice lineup to see out there. Okie dokie. Right, where are we up to? I think, I'll tell you what, we were going to do a little thing about the resources, actually. I was going to show you a few resources online, but I think we might just sort of, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just show you this web page. This is a web page at our website, spacecentre.nz. And you can go there and you can find a whole bunch of resources. And in coming weeks, assuming that we keep the show going, we will show you some of the resources there, but I also want to show you lots of things from all over the internet. But I think what we might do actually at the moment is just ask if there are any questions or comments or anything like that we need to take. Anything at all? No? Yes? Hang on a sec, we'll just bring the microphone over to you. Sorry? So you guys had a question, did you? Oh, okay then. Sorry about that. Jess?
Will you have a mini Matt Damon in the Martian?
So, sorry, Jess, I think I might have had you down there. As I say, teething problems. Can we just get you to ask that question again, please?
Will you have a mini Matt Damon in the Mars enclosure?
I think that is a fantastic idea. Who did that question come from, Jess? Do you know?
Chutney, pickles, something bread.
Okay then. Thank you so much for that, Chutney. We really appreciate that. Look, that is actually a really cool idea. I like it. I think we should see if we can fit something like that in. Okay, thank you for that. Anything else? Hang on, we've got something else. Sorry, go ahead, Jess.
Had a couple of answers for the pie question.
Oh, okay.
One of them was, is it because a pie was sent into space to see if its molecular structure changes during the journey?
Good attempt, and the best one so far. No, it has not been into space. It was only freshly baked this afternoon. Anything else, Jess?
Evening Dave and crew, was the pie made to celebrate Pi Day, as in P-I, 14th of the 3rd in American form?
Righto, another really good answer or suggestion. No, but we like it, and you two are now in the running to win the interesting pie. Right, what I should do is probably give you another clue, actually. So let me give you one clue about the about the interesting pie. Sorry, Jess. About the interesting pie. It is an apple pie. Does that help? Does that help anyone here? It's an apple pie. A couple of people are kind of nodding out there in the audience. Does anyone want to have a stab at what it's all about yet? Okay, yeah. Okay, so look, it's an apple pie with a connection to a famous scientist. So there you go. I'll give you another clue very shortly. Right, I'll just have a quick drink of water because next up, it is time for Dave Has a Rant. Excuse me. Right, so this is where I'm going to get angry. But don't worry, my angry is actually really not that bad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'll just have it going in the background here, a video. Let's see if I can get this up, just bear with me a sec. Righto, so here it comes. So this is a video from an outfit, what was their name? It was, I've got it here somewhere, Astro Live Experiences, and they are making this thing called Sky Canvas. Now, check this out. What the plan is to send these little satellites up into space, and these things are loaded with artificial meteorites. This thing, what you can see firing out there from that satellite is a tiny wee little pebble, just sort of like so big, something like that. We're not sure exactly what it's made of because that's a trade secret, but the idea is to recreate artificial meteors. Did I say meteorite? I meant meteor. Shooting star is what we're looking for. So this is a commercial company that wants to make artificial meteor showers anywhere in the world, anytime, on demand. They're going to have this whole constellation of satellites up there. So what you do is you just ring them up and say, I want a meteor shower over my city at a certain time. Please make it happen. So first of all, cool concept. You know, that's pretty neat what they're doing. The technology behind it is actually it's pretty amazing. Or, you know, hat off to them for thinking outside the square and trying to do something really cool. I absolutely hate it to bits. This really annoys me, actually, and that's why I'm having a rant about it. So where do I start with this? First of all, do we actually want artificial meteor showers over us just happening willy-nilly? Well, the idea is that these things are supposed to be a lot brighter than normal meteor showers. That seems to be kind of the point of it, really. They'll be very colourful. I actually imagine that they will look really cool, but do we just want them happening anywhere? And I guess I've got this real thing about this being the thin end of a wedge, because this is one company that wants to put flashy stuff up in space. Of course, here in New Zealand, our own Peter Beck from Rocket Lab did the same sort of thing a while ago. You remember this? Just over a year ago, he launched this thing called Humanity Star. Did any of you guys in the audience see this when it went over, or did you hear about that? Okay, it was that thing there, or I think that's a replica, but anyway, one just like that, and he put it into orbit, and it just glowed red, and flashed, actually, as it went around. I saw it a couple of times. It was beautiful. It was really, really cool. Do I want it happening every night when I go outside and look at the sky? Not really. So good on you, Peter. Great project. Love it to bits. Don't do it again. Here's another one that I just found out when I was researching this. This thing here, there's an artist in America who has designed this thing, and apparently it's already been launched. It's called Orbital Reflector. Now, I only just found out about this thing. I believe it's been launched, but I don't know exactly what its status is at the moment. If anyone wants to tell me, please do. But what happens is that this is just the satellite down here. It gets launched into space and then unfurls this enormous inflatable balloon thing, and it's highly reflective. So I saw some simulations of this. It makes these big streaking lights across the night sky. Now this obscene abomination really deserves a rant of its own, and I might come back another time to tear this guy a new one, because this is just awful. No one asked for this. You know, who asked our permission to pollute our night sky with this stuff? This is supposed to be an art project. I don't think that's art. I think it's pollution, and I don't want it, frankly. I don't want that. I don't want the artificial meteor showers, and I don't want any of the other stuff. Righto, before I get too carried away, let's calm things down and go over to Jess, because she might have something to calm me down. Jess.
It was launched Monday, December 3rd at 10:34 on board the SpaceX flight SSO-A Smallsat Express.
The thing that we were just looking at, the orbital reflector, was launched on a SpaceX rocket, was it?
Yeah.
Ah, thank you for that. So it was launched
By Trevor Paglen.
He's the artist, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. So basically, this is a guy who fancies himself as an artist and has put that up in space for us all to marvel at. But so, look, I mean, I could see where the guy is coming from. I saw a quick video from him. He said his whole motivation is to create an art installation, and he wants to encourage people to look up at the night sky. Peter Beck said a similar sort of thing. Okay, I get that, but the night sky itself is what we want to look at. If you want to encourage people to look at the night sky, encourage them to look at that. Because you know what you can see in the night sky? You can see the universe. The whole universe is right up there in front of your eyes. That's what I want to look at. I don't want to look at your tacky art installation. Sorry. I don't like it at all. To me, that's saying we want to encourage people to look at the Grand Canyon, so we're going to inflate a 20-meter tall Mickey Mouse in front of it to make people look at it. It's not. It's tacky. It's not art. I hate it. Anyway, does anyone have any comments about all of that? I think that will end the rant for today. Thank you so much for listening. There's plenty of things that upset me, so we'll come back and tackle something else next week. Righto. So how's our time going? Do we have any other questions or anything? Any comments from you guys? Any other questions on social media? Okay, let's keep things moving along. Now, what I might do actually is let's just jump straight to, hang on, just bear with me a sec. Going to jump straight to this new segment over here called Everything is Fake! And this is all about conspiracy theories and all of that kind of stuff, which really, to be honest, is a bigger part of my life than I would like. I have to deal with this stuff a lot, but it is kind of fun. So let's talk about it a little bit. I thought, excuse me, I'm just going to have another quick drink of water. I thought I would, just with the first segment of Everything is Fake, just do perhaps a very quick overview of the sort of space-related conspiracy theories that are out there and the sort of thing that I have to live with on pretty much a daily basis. So I actually figured it might be a good idea to try and come up with a sort of a Venn diagram to show how all of this works. I did do a quick search online, but I couldn't find any kind of diagram that shows space-related conspiracy theories. There are some big diagrams of all the conspiracy theories, but I'm just really mostly interested in the ones that concern space. So I'm going to start off with this thing. Now quickly, first of all, I know what I'm going to show you is not a proper Venn diagram, because a Venn diagram is supposed to show all the relationships and everything, but this is just kind of a start for me to try and lay out what we're looking at with space conspiracy theories. So we've got this large set of people who think that at least something to do with space is dodgy, that someone is telling us lies or not telling us the whole truth. Just don't really trust NASA and all the rest of it. Now, a very significant part of that group are people who believe that the moon landings were fake. This is by far currently the biggest space-related conspiracy theory out there. In fact, I keep a little thing next to my desk here that looks like this. It says the number of times this month I've been asked if the moon landings were real. Now, in this month, it's a very quiet month. We don't actually have a lot of groups coming through here, so we're only up to 3 this month, which is actually about a record low. Next term, when we get all the schools and bigger groups coming through here, I get asked that pretty much once a day. I can expect someone to say, did we really go to the moon? Well, what about the waving flags and all the rest of it? Anyway, so that's the big thing, the moon landings were faked. Now, within that group, you have a much smaller group who think that all of space, or pretty much all of space, is fake. So that NASA's lying about everything. They haven't really got rockets at all. All of the other companies, they're all on the conspiracy theory. Now, this is where things start getting a lot more tricky. And this is where we start getting into the serious side of conspiracy theories. The moon landings were faked. That's sort of like conspiracy space for noobs. It's a casual conspiracy theory. You don't really have to be a serious conspiracy theorist to think the moon landings were fake, but to think all of space is fake, yeah, that's leveling up for sure. So for the people who think that space is fake, it may be that they just think that all of NASA and our reporting of space is fake, right through to the people who literally believe that space is fake. It's not a real thing. So the people who think that, for example, that there's a big dome above the Earth and all that kind of stuff, which actually brings us to the subset of that group, which is the people who think the Earth is flat. Okay, so it's a pretty small group of people who genuinely think the Earth is flat, but it is a growing group. In what is perhaps history's most unlikely comeback, the flat Earth movement is really making inroads. I saw a survey recently in the States. I don't know if you're going to believe this, but according to this survey, there are approximately 6 million flat earthers in the United States. I will say that again, 6 million flat earthers in the United States. Astonishing stuff. So really hard to get your head around. We will talk about that more at a later date. Jess?
We have had Renee Williams ask, does it relate to Sir Isaac Newton, who discovered gravity when an apple fell on his head and also invented the first reflecting telescope?
That is a very comprehensive answer. What was the person's name again? Sorry, Jess?
Renee Williams.
Renee. Congratulations, Renee. You are the first person with the correct answer. I think we'll take that as a correct answer, won't we? That is pretty much it. Now, I should have pointed out at the start of the show that I was planning on giving out the prize randomly. We didn't make the rules clear, did we? That wasn't very good of me. I think we will give it to Renee, actually, since she was the first person to correctly answer. Let's have a look at the pie again. Here's the interesting pie. Oh, it's still warm. Oh, smells awesome. Angie's a good cook. You're going to love this, Renee. Now, hopefully, Renee, can you please, you don't need to do this publicly, but we'll need to get hold of you to get your delivery address so we can get the pie to you, assuming that I don't eat it beforehand, because it's tempting. Look at it. What a delicious looking pie. So, I tell you what, we'll come back at the end of the show and I'll give you the full story about the pie. Let's see. No, I think we'll leave it at that. We'll keep moving on. Where were we? We were talking about the conspiracy theory thing. Sorry, Jess and Ange, is that all over there? Cool, thank you. So we're almost at the end of this bit here. So we've got the people who think the Earth is flat. And just one last thing here. There are a bunch of other kinds of conspiracy theories about space. And in my haste, I wasn't quite sure how to fit them into my pseudo Venn diagram. So I've just kind of popped them in like that. Again, if any mathematicians out there want to make a proper Venn diagram out of this, get hold of me and we'll see what we can do. So that's pretty much the lay of the land when we're looking at conspiracy theories related to space. As I say, I spend an awful lot of time dealing with this stuff. I wish I didn't have to spend so much time with it, but it is a bit of fun, so what the heck. I think that's probably enough about the conspiracy theories for now. Has anyone else from the audience got any other questions or comments? Because I think what we would like to do, Floyd, are you ready to take the mic out there? Can we come out and do a meet in the audience? Can we talk to you guys? Okay, Floydie, go out to the front row here and let's ask these guys, can we have your name? Okay, hang on, Floyd, is that microphone on? It is? Okay, I'm sorry, Nathaniel, I don't think we can quite hear you through here. Let's just try again. Just try one more time. No, we're not getting your microphone, so I'm very sorry about that, Nathaniel. Thank you for coming along tonight. Now, are you into space, Nathaniel? You are. Is there anything in particular you like about space? You're like me. You're like me, Nathaniel. Absolutely everything about space appeals to me. I love the whole thing to bits. I love rockets. I love looking at the stars. Do you go outside at night and look up at the stars? Oh, you've seen Orion out there? Okay, now you guys, I believe, are out towards Kawhia, aren't you? Okay, you must get some beautiful views of the night sky out there, don't you? Yeah, good on you. Look, thank you for coming along. These guys have been supporters of the Space Centre for a while. Really nice to have you guys here today. Thank you so much for coming along. Righto, our time is moving along, and I'm thinking we should probably start getting to the end. I'll tell you what I might do. Let's wrap up that thing about the Newton, the Isaac Newton pie, the interesting pie. So let me show you a couple of photos here. The pie was made this afternoon from fresh apples from this tree. This tree is located in our section at the back of our house. The photo was taken yesterday morning, a beautiful, foggy Waikato morning. The tree that you're looking at there is an apple tree. The variety is the Flower of Kent. Yikes, I hope I've got that right. I'm pretty sure I've got that right. The Flower of Kent variety apple. Now, Flower of Kent apples really are not a taste sensation. To be honest, you don't want to eat them raw. They're a cooking apple. They're a good cooking apple, so that's why we are giving away the pie rather than just the raw apples. Now, the thing with this tree, though, it's not just the variety of the tree. This particular tree, that very tree that you're looking at there, is a direct descendant of that tree. You may recognise that tree. Renee, do you recognise it? That tree there is in Lincolnshire, England. It's located at a place called Woolsthorpe Manor. Here's another photo. This is a winter photo of the same tree. That building in the background is the family home of Sir Isaac Newton. So, and you can actually see his room from here. It's on the top story there. That is the room that Isaac Newton sat in, and apparently he enjoyed looking out over his garden while he was coming up with his theories of the laws of motion, gravity, etc. So, in other words, let's just go back to our pie here. So, this pie, the interesting pie, is made from apples that are directly descended from Isaac Newton's own apple tree. It's not just that it's an apple, etc. They actually came from Isaac Newton's tree, or at least a direct descendant, so they're genetically identical to the apples that Isaac Newton would have had in his pies, and we have even made an authentic apple pie using an old English recipe from about the time of Isaac Newton. So this really is the kind of pie that Isaac Newton himself could have eaten. So I hope you enjoy the pie. Let us know either way whether you enjoyed it or not. Okay, so you all know who Isaac Newton is. Of course, we've talked about him quite a lot. Very, very famous scientist and splendid looking fellow. He really does hold himself very well, doesn't he? Very proper English man. Okay, now do we have any more questions? Any comments? Jess, hang on a sec, Jess. Yep, what do you got there?
From Driver Lance.
Yep.
I don't like the media CubeSats either. It's already hard enough for scientists to find real meteors, and no doubt there will be a lot of false meteor reports making it even harder for them.
Thank you for that. Sorry, I missed the name again. I'm not paying attention. What's the name again?
Driver Lance.
Driver Lance. Thank you, Driver Lance, for that. Yeah, look, it's not good, is it? I mean, it's not just, as you point out, there's scientific stuff here that's going to get affected as well. It's not just our appreciation of the night sky. I can imagine people out there doing actual, genuine scientific research, and you know what happens when you get anything from a cosmic ray to a meteor going through your shot. It really can kill it. And this sort of stuff is just absolutely not helpful. So I imagine the astronomical community is actually going to be pretty upset about this as well. I should have pointed out, on the plus side, apparently these meteor showers will only have a viewable range of about 200 kilometres, so it's not like they're going to be everywhere all at the same time. Still, I don't like it. And as I said before, I'm really concerned that this is the start of something that we really don't want. As it stands at the moment, there are no restrictions on what you can put into space as long as it's safe and a few other things, but there's no restrictions on putting something tacky in space. You can put up anything as gaudy and ugly and as obnoxious as you like in space. You go for your life. So I don't think that's good. I think we need some kind of regulation. What's going on here? Who's going to be looking after the night sky for us? But there are also actual, practical, real-world implications. What happens if one of these things shoots something out? They shoot out at 8 kilometres per second. What happens if it goes the wrong way and hits something else? There's a lot of problems with this. I know that they're saying that their orbit at the moment is a very low Earth orbit, which isn't currently being used by anything else, but it could be. New satellites are going to want to use that space, and we don't want it all full of your junk. Thank you very much. I'm still ranting, aren't I? I just can't stop myself. I'm not happy. Not happy. I'm with you on that one, Driver Lance. Okay, I think we are starting to get towards the end of the show and getting ready to wrap things up. So we're going to kind of make last call for any other questions, comments, or anything like that. Tell you what, we will finish off with just a couple of quick things before we go. I want to do just another big thank you to our sponsor for tonight's episode, On Fire. I really appreciate you guys getting on board with this and helping us get started. What was the other thing I was going to say? I can't remember what it was. Unless it comes to me in the next few seconds, we're probably going to miss out on it. Let me just check my list here to see if we had anything else to talk about. I don't think there was anything there. I know what I was going to say. It did come back to me in about 10 seconds. I just wanted to apologise again for all the stuff, all the problems we had at the start of the show. Unfortunately, as a result of that, looks like we've had a total of 11 viewers, which is not quite the auspicious start that we were looking for. But look, this is a new show. It's a new YouTube channel. It's going to take us time to get up and running, and we are going to have teething problems. I seriously doubt whether that was the last one. So we're going to have to look at how we do this for next week. But thank you so much for bearing with us. Congratulations for finding us when we weren't at the right place. So well done, everyone. And I think with that, we will pretty much call it a close for the night. So let's have everyone here say a big wave goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell your friends about this. We need more people to get on board with this. We need more subscribers, and we need to get the word out there. So thank you so much for joining, and hopefully we will see you with fewer technical problems this time next week.